And welcome back to Fantabulous Bags, where we do product development sketches of handbags. Imagine that. Okay, so we're back with this guy. It's actually, let me see, this fellow over here is beautiful Wayuu bag. It's vastly overpriced, but anyway. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do our pattern. So usually when you do something this complicated and you're doing it for product development, you have to make sure you're pretty close to what you want. Unless it has to be exact, and you're allowed to, you can actually send the sample, but if not, and interchanging things, it's good to know how to do it. Okay, so the first thing is I counted the rows of the crochet, and it's actually 50 from the top all the way to the, here you can see where it starts, the round bottom. So what we're going to do is we're going to do that, and then we're going to do our pattern. This is the pattern the way it looks. It's on the back. So let's go. Okay, so we don't have to do exactly 50, but we want to get pretty close. So we're going to do a lot. And then we're going to do a little bit on the shoulder strap, which is also kind of cool. You can look at it. It's a little different stitch. Very interesting. All right, so let's go for it. So the first things first, we are going to do our 50 rows. So let's go. Just go around. You could do partial rendering on something like this, but it's better not to do to be too vague on it. Okay, so first is like we had about 2 rows of this here. So I'm just going, and as you can see, I'm following the curvature of the actual bag because that's what happens. Now, you have another option. If you don't care that the bag should have like an illustrated look, or you don't need to put it on a fancy style board or, you know, mood board, you can just do it flat. You can just do a flat picture of the bag and, you know, send that to the factory. If you're not dealing with buyers that have to see a pretty mood board or something like that, you could do that. That is totally fine. But if you don't, you have to wind up doing something like this, which you have to try to do a lot for your boss. So you have to make sure that you do something that's attractive enough to put on a mood board, yet if you send it to the factory, they won't be like, oh my God, what is that? I can't understand it. It's too artsy fartsy. Just go ahead and do a flat sketch if you're just dealing with a factory and they don't care either way. All right, so here we go. So let me see how many I got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. Okay, we're okay. So we just keep on trucking. Okay. Also, when you do your documentation on everything, it's also a good idea to, you mention, oh, this has got like 50 rows of crochet, or this has got a round bottom, even if you draw it, because sometimes things can get misunderstood. And also, it's a good way to communicate is to be a little redundant. So if they miss it one place, they'll catch it someplace else. So if you're going to draw your very perfect picture, also make sure very perfectly that you mention that you're doing a 50-row crochet bag. And whatever else you're going to do. Obviously, stuff that is very important is exact Pantone numbers, if that's what's required, in, you know, all sorts of things like that. Okay, so now I'm only going to do partial on this just because I don't want you to be sitting here for hours and hours. This type of bag, by the way, will take a long time to do development for, precisely because of its complexity. So don't be like, oh my God, it's going to take hours. Your boss might, if they're not very artistic, be like, why isn't it taking so long? But they shouldn't really, because it's going to take a long time, especially if they want something that's not going to come back looking like a freak show from the factory, which can happen very, very easily, and it's very frightening when it happens. I have some really weird stories to tell about that, but that's for some other time when you're drinking beer and having a good time with your friends. Okay, so here. So now Okay, so we're actually closing in on like, I don't know how many stripes we got in here. A lot. Now, once you get this, it's going to help you a lot because it's going to be like a grid that'll help you put your design in 3 dimensions. Okay, try to make sure that the lines are somewhat even. They're not going to be that even, which is fine because guess what? A crochet bag is made by hand and the lines aren't going to be even anyway because it's a natural product. This is something that unfortunately buyers don't understand, and you have to explain it to them like 120 times. So I'm going to say this has about 30 stripes, not really 50, but we can work with it. Okay, so we're done here with that. We have our idea of our stripes. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to look at our pattern again. Now, it's got like this really, let me zoom out a little bit. It's got this really nice pink, tan, and sandy color. And so let's go ahead and look at it. It's going to be going across the middle. So the first thing I'm seeing here is that there's like two diamonds. So let's go get those diamonds done. And again, you can measure those diamonds, being that we're doing these proportionally. So each diamond is about, let's say, 5 inches black. So let's go ahead and do that. I don't recall exactly how much the bag, what we did, 11. Okay. So I did like halfsies on this. I went, centimeters and doubled it just so it should be proportional. Okay, so the first one, I'm seeing that the first diamond is actually falling across between our drawstring. So that's perfect. We can see it's falling right between our drawstring around here. So let's go ahead and draw that in. It's a nice big diamond. Now, because it's across there we go. So there. The next one obviously is going to be on the next area between the drawstrings. So let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, there. So I'm just going to go ahead and do my other diamond. All right, let me see how many I did them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Let me count actually if I got it correct on my original. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay. It's not that off, which is good. But again, if you want to do this exact, you can sit down and make a grid, and many times you will have to. You'll have to sit down on your computer or sometimes with graph paper because you want to do it life size, and then you go ahead and do your grid. Now, the next thing is we have this nice little kind of tawny, tanny color here. It's like a sandy color. So I'm going to draw that around. So just follow up. You're going to do a little bit more with this once you're done with your idea, your general idea. Okay, so let's see. And the next one, we'll do the same thing. And, okay, now they get connected. So we're going to do that connection, but unfortunately it's under the, so just going to kind of draw it in because it's behind the tassel, and it's also under the other side. So here, just do your best. Okay. Use your imagination a little bit. Okay, so now that we've gotten till this point, okay. Okay, so the next thing, what's the next one? Next, we have another line of pink. See, we have this pink line here. So we're going to do that pink line. Pink, pink, pink. Okay, so the next one, try to imagine the color lines in your mind. because that helps you not to get too confused, because this can get really confusing, actually. You'll be surprised how confusing this type of thing is, especially when you have to go and color it in. The other thing you can do, like I said, is actually just get a large piece of graph paper and sit down and do that as well. You could do it on the computer too, but it's sometimes much better to do it with your hands, because on the computer, it's kind of like going from paper to reality. And I don't know, that's, unless you happen to be a computer and you like computers, I don't know. Okay, so now we have our 2 triangles. Now we're going to work on the other stuff, which is a little bit more complicated. We have this pointy thing, and 2 more stripes. So let's go ahead with that. Okay, so pointy thing number 1. Let's see. It's actually running against here, the pink one. So we're going to go like that. Has this kind of like jagged, toothy look. I know that's not very... Oh, wait a minute. I did make a mistake. Actually, it's every 2, not every 1. Okay, oops. All right, you will make mistakes. That's what erasers are for. Okay, so let's go ahead and make our jaggy tooth thing between every 2 stitches. So here, the next one's like that. It's much bigger than I thought of. Like, it's looking too tiny. All right, here. So we're doing our jaggy, toothy, designy thing here. Okay. And how does that do that? Oh, okay, so then it goes into this kind of like hat, whatever it is, kind of thing here. And then we go and we do it down the other side. Okay, we're getting someplace. Not quite sure where. Okay, so we do the same thing on the bottom. So, again, now we're doing it backwards, because it's backwards on the bottom, obviously. Okay, so now, oh boy, there goes my heater. Okay. Okay, very nice. So we have to imagine how it looks under here because of the fact that it's under that part of the bag. Okay, so let's do our next one. We're going to go to the other side and do the same thing because it's matching. Okay, let's go down. Okay, this goes up this way. It's kind of like a sarape look. Sarape. Want to be very fancy. Sarape look. Okay. So we're getting there. Okay, so now we have our jagged thingy-majig or whatever. Don't listen to me. I just work here. Okay, here. So next one, we're going to do it again backwards. Upside down, backwards. Oh, remember it's 2, not 1. Okay, now, under here it's not going to show so much, and yeah, it's probably going to be mostly hidden behind this, so we're going to make our line there. Okay, next, keep looking. Okay, so now we have the one that kisses it on the other side. Kiss, kiss, kiss. Okay, whatever. I'm a little bit strange with these things. Okay, so how do we do that? Okay, so it's on this line over on top. So let's mark it out. And now let's go ahead and figure out how to do our little... Yeah, this is going to be a little bit interesting. Let's try it. Okay, let's see. Okay, it got lost under there, so let's do it on this side now. So what we're doing is our interesting little pattern, which, okay, so again, we have to do it on this side, and then we have a stripe of what? Oh, another stripe. Okay, so let's get the jagged part in, and then we'll do our white stripe, and then we'll almost be finished. Okay. Okay, there. Okay. Okay. All right. Oh, okay, so this goes across. Okay, I'm seeing that now. All right. And then it goes back. Let me just totally get confused myself. Okay, so there. Now we have to do this part completely upside down, which is going to be lots of fun. No, it's not. But anyway, let's pretend because, you know, you can use your imagination for all sorts of wonderful things, like pretending things that are unpleasant are actually very nice. Okay, here. Like, you know, visits from your mother-in-law, etc. Okay, anyway, I didn't say that. I swear I didn't say that. Okay, here. So now we got our white stripe on this side. Now we have to do it on this side. And thankfully, some of it's covered up. So we're going to do our jagged edge that's on this side now. Okay, so now we have to fill that white part in. It has a thin line going next to it. So let's fill that out. Well, here it's all covered up, except here, this little part here. And we're going to do that. Actually, it ends. Okay, that's a little weird. I don't know how they do that. I'm no master weaver, so I have no idea how this stuff is done. But whatever. Whatever. Okay, so the next one is actually going to be easy. It's just a black line. Thank God. Okay, here. No fetching. Okay, so now the next one was you do our white line that kind of stops right there. And yeah, so we do our white line here. Okay, so we do our white line over here. Getting a little confused. Okay, so there. Now the next thing we have this little black line. Okay, so let's get all complicated. So now, thankfully, it's not that complicated. It's just a black line. And I'm going to put that black line all around. And what does it do? It just travels across. Okay, yeah, it just goes across the top. Okay, very good. So let's go ahead and do that. All right. Let's do our little black line. It's going across. Very nice. Okay. And actually, now it comes down this way. And I thought I was free from this white crazy stuff, but I guess I'm not. Just remember that whatever you do has to follow through. Okay, so now the only thing we're lacking, so we did the black line, the white. Now we have to do this 20 card, and then we're done. Yay! Okay, so now we have the tan line. So I'm going to put the tan line up here, and that one does travel across. So let's do that. Okay. Tan. Okay, and it goes down here, and I don't know where it goes there because it's behind that. Thank God. Okay, so we're going to go around here, and now we're going to go onto this one, and then we're going to do that. And the other one is just a triangle, thankfully. So we're going to do our 20 line here, and it goes underneath. Yeah, it goes underneath. And then here we close this off, and I don't think we're even going to have room for it here. Yeah, it's just going to go away. All right, we're done. So fantastic. Now we're going to do this, which is almost seems like an easy part. This shoulder strap thing. So we have here, let me see how many stripes we have on this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do on this, I'm just going to do a little piece of that just because it's going to drive me nuts, and then I'll do it on the computer a little bit more next week. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do our fun pointy shape here. Okay, so there. Now we have to count how many. So I'm counting from the white one. Just make your plan. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's do 1. This was being the first. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. And now we do our diamonds, because these are all self-contained little diamonds. All right. Okay. Being that this video is going to get way too long if I continue this. All right. Got to work on this. Okay, 5. All right. Okay, so it has to be 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so the next thing that we're doing is we'd have to do the next diamond, which is actually 3 diamonds. So it's like this. So I didn't do it wrong, but I have to just do that. Now, once we do this, there's 2 diamonds in there. How does that go again? Ah, I see. Okay. We throw our diamond in there, and then we do it here. Okay, I'm not going to continue with that because it's just going to take too long, and I just want to go to the inking. So we're going to stop right there. We'll continue. Well, I'll continue it, and then we'll do some work on the computer next week. So, okay, so now we have to go over everything with a light, very light pen. So do a fine line. If you have a very good scanner, I found out you can use an extra fine tip pen, but, you know, just make sure that your scanner is fabulous. Okay, now, with this, if we're going to use the computer to completely color this in, we want to make sure that all of our lines are perfectly closed. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be lazy, not lazy, smart. I'm going to go over first these lines, like so. And the thing about this is that because you're working with well, you're going to be working soon with a computer on this, is that the computer does not forgive you making mistakes and forgetting lines. So you want to make sure that your lines are perfect. And keep a color map of what you're doing. She's like, what's that color map? But anyway, you'll find out. Okay. So we're going to do these lines carefully, carefully. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. So what you see, I'm just going over lines and lines and lines. And if you did this and you were very careful in doing it neatly, it will work out. Trust me, it will. Okay. Right now, it looks like a giant jumble. But if you were very careful and you were doing your lines as best you can, it will work out. You'll have to color in each piece, but you will have a very nice piece of artwork that will look good not only on, well, I mean, the sample hands, they don't really care that much, but you don't want to show them something ugly, and the buyers will appreciate it because a lot of them can't imagine these things. So if you show them something that actually looks attractive and it calms them down, your boss will be really happy. Okay, here we go. Okay. All right. So as you can see, we're slowly coming off our pattern here. And this is really good for wrist control. Learn lots of drawing this way. Okay. Once you are done with the horizontal, and then you can do the vertical lines or the jagged lines. All right. Woo. All right, we're almost there. ladies and gentlemen. Then I have to do the other side. The reason I do it like this is because it's easier for me to move my hand this way. I mean, if it's not easier for you, you can do it flat on the table. I usually like to turn it in the direction of the strength of my hand, if that makes any sense to you. Okay. So. Okay. Try not to like smear your pencil lines because then it's hard to see what you did, which is what I'm doing, but whatever. I mean, the world isn't a perfect place, but do your best. Okay. All right. We're almost there. All right. So now we have to go over our lines one more time in pen. So this is the big black line, the big black triangle. Okay. Of course, the big test is when you actually have to ink these guys in. All right, I'm just gonna sit down because my back is killing me. Okay. All right, so, okay, here we go. All right. Remember to close all of your lines as best as possible. Okay, there. And think of it as if you were weaving the fabric. There. Okay. All right. Getting a little quiet, isn't it? Okay, here we go. There. Okay, so now we have this area here. All right, now we have to do this area here. Remember, just plan your artwork very well. Sometimes you'll have to go back and fix things. That's fine. That's what happens sometimes. All right. There. All right. Okay, so now, hopefully I've done everything correctly. I think I did. Okay. Except this part here. Okay, this one has to go up one. Okay. All right, so now we're going to work on this side of the bag. When I erase it, it'll make more sense, I promise. Okay. So the next one is this. Okay, and then there's this line there. Okay, so now I'm going to see about that. Check to make sure that your lines are where you want them. Okay. that they look okay. Okay. All right, and now the other side. Okay. Okay. Now, the triangles. Okay. Okay. More triangles. I'm starting to see triangles everywhere. You don't have to go crazy about it. You can let me go crazy about it. Okay. So now we do this one. Down. Okay, and the next one is the black triangle, if I'm correct. I believe I am. Okay. Okay. The next is this, I think the pink triangle, the pink line. Not really a full triangle. Okay. So now next we do our jagged edge. All right. Okay. Okay. Now this one. All right. So, ta-da. Hopefully I did everything properly. We will find out next week when I try to ink this in on the computer. Okay. Just make sure that all any shapes or holes that need to be out are completely fleshed out, and there's no little holes between what should be spaces of different color. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit on the here. And this is just a bunch of diamonds and jagged edges. Okay. Just make sure that you don't pick off, make your sketches full of holes if you're separating colors on it and using a scanner, because you will have a very bad time trying to color those things in. Either you'll have to correct your original sketch, or you're going to have to play with lots of pixels and points. And let me tell you, it ain't fun. Okay, here we go. So make sure that you do all of your little bits of sketching and counting and closing holes as much as possible. Okay, so now we have this bag, and you could do actually a partial rendering on this too. Some people do that, and then they fill in other stuff with gray. You could do that, but we'll work on it next week on the computer. So let's see, the next thing we do is that I'm just going to erase all my pencil marks so you can kind of figure out what it is that we did. And there. Ta-da! That's a lot of pencil marks. I bet my hand is filthy. Yep. Full of pencil shavings and whatnot. Okay. Make sure that you get it very clean, because once it's on the scanner, you don't want schmutzes. All right. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed this class. I hope you... I'll see you next week, and we can fill this in. And did you enjoy that class too? Have a nice weekend, although it is Tuesday. And I'll see you next week. Bye.